Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next lesson in the Su-25 Cadet series. This time we're going to learn how to use the ILS for landing. The ILS system in the Su-25 is very similar to the simple navigation system. There's practically no difference in how you use it and the instruments you are using. So it should be pretty simple. Just never ever forget that the instrument will not kill you. The instrument does not lie. When flying ILS in very low visibility situations, that is instrument meteorological conditions in Russian and instrument flight rules in the West. Never trust your eyes, never trust your senses, and always trust your instruments. The instrument will not kill you. Learn how to read the instrument. Learn to have full confidence in your instruments, and you will always get back and land. Too many people are too scared to fly in low or zero visibility condition because they don't know how to land, and then they make an excuse that, oh, I got hit so I had to eject or anything like that. But it is only because they do not understand the instruments. The instruments we are going to use today is let's do it like this, is the HSI. I don't know if you see my mouse cursor. It depends on whether or not the AMD Relive recording software want to record it. But HSI, your ADI, your altitude, your speed, and your VVI, your velocity indicator, vertical velocity indicator. When I'm doing the approach, I have enough to think about, so I will not be saying too much. But what is going to happen is that I'm going out to the landing return point. Why the landing return point? For the sole reason that I have plenty of time to line up, get into a glide path, get settled in for the approach. Not all airports have ILS systems. Of course, now I can't see it. But Batumi has instrument flight instrument landing system. That's why I love Batumi, because it is a simple airport that has all the stuff, and it's easy to recognize due to the river, the inlet here. Okay, I'm gonna fly out, intercept the return point, gonna line up for landing, gonna use my course deviation needle and bearing needle to line up roughly. Then I'm going to use the ADI, and I'm aiming for, first of all, I want to be lined up with the runway. That means I will try to keep the vertical line completely centered on my dot here. Right now it says that I should do a right row. I will do that, and I will do the amount of row until this line sits straight, goes right through the center here. The horizontal line is my altitude, is my glide path. As I approach the airfield, this will slowly move down. I will try to have that also right in the middle of my center here. Over here I will make sure that my descent rate is between 0 and 5. When I know I'm approximately lined up, I can ignore this one, because then this one takes over and I will be focusing on this. This is just to get me a rough lineup, rough direction. Over here I can see the distance of the range to the airfield. Remember that this is most likely the center of the runway and not your touchdown point on the runway. So it may say 2 kilometers, but you're almost at the runway threshold, at the runway end, at the pianos. And here my speed, I will make sure that I'm at roughly 350 or so. Then I have speed to lose and I have plenty of speed for climbing. So fly out to a return point, do a 180, intercept the course, follow the instruments in. Yes, I know that I can visually see the airfield, but because this is training, this is how we want to build up confidence in instruments. If you can see the instruments are telling you you're online, that you are on rails, and you can look out and visually confirm it, then quickly your confidence in your instrument will build up until the day where you have absolute no vision outside the cockpit, but your instruments showed that you are. Then you fall back to the basics, and the basic is I trust my instrument. Last time I used my instrument, they were completely lined up. They are telling the truth. Instrument cannot lie. I don't want to climb too much, because then I have to descend, and that means my speed is going to build up. And as we all know, she is very fond of gliding, so I will try to prevent that, because then I have to lose a lot of airspeed, and the air brakes are not sufficient. So, but I know that I'm coming up to a 180 turn. That means a lot of speed can be bled off in that turn, so I'm not that worried. And I know that I will be roughly, let's say 15 kilometers out. So let's turn to the return point. Let's get a bit more altitude. And if we call in, if you see Katumi in now,
возврат. 1:00. Дружинник. Следуйте курсом 036. Удаление 5. Давление 759,24. Посадочный 1-3. Занимайте высоту круга.
Okay. Active pause. He said runway 13. We know that when we are approaching the runway, we need to fly a heading of 13. But because we have local knowledge, we know that that runway is more about 125. So if we aim at 12 and 13, that will be good enough. So, and remember, right now I'm ignoring this instrument, the ADI, and I'm focusing on the HSI. When I read the return point and lined up using the HSI, I'll be ignoring that and be using the ADI. 2 kilometers. And we are on landing landing mode. So do a right turn until we reach or get the route, the correct approach, the correct bearing. And now I know that I'm a very good rough line up. And if you look outside, you can see right there, that is the runway. The lineup is rough but very good. And according to the instrument, I'm lined up roughly but very good. So what I'm gonna do now is that I will be flying according to this one, and I'm trying to keep the yellow vertical line directly through the dot in the middle of the circle, and then I will be looking at that, my descent rate, altitude and airspeed. When you get a bit of experience in any plane, you don't actually have to look at the airspeed, because you got a feeling of how she's climbing, descending, how much control you have. So the more experience you have, the less you're looking at the speedometer, the velocity meter. So right now I can see here that I need to have a little bit of right roll, and after that I'll be having a left turn, but I'll be hunting the yellow line. And a bit of throttle below 400 kilometers per hour. That is good. I can deploy landing gear. Let's do that. And I want to trim out, so a little to the left. Descent is on level. Trimming, 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 trimming. A little to the left. Speed is fine, 350.
1-0-0. Работайте с посадкой.
Climbing a bit, speed is slowly dropping. See, when the shaking stops, you know that you are at that speed 350, because you know your plane now, you know your platform. That's why you know when the shaking stops, you are at that speed. That is why it's very important to often fly a module instead of flying 1 hour on that and 2 hours on that. You never ever learn the module. You never ever learn the little, I don't know what the English word is, but finurligheder is what we say in Danish. The little inputs, the little things. So I know that I'm pretty damn good lined up here. I have control over my descent because I'm not climbing or descending, and the shaking stops, so I know I'm at 350 gears deployed. Right now, because I have full control and have plenty of height, I would like to deploy my flaps, full flaps, because I know the plane. I know that she will climb a bit when the flaps gets deployed, and I need time to descend to counter for that. And when I'm descending, I'm gonna gain speed, and I want plenty of time to lose that speed, so I once again have full control over the platform. So full flaps, she's climbing, countering with trim, less throttle, keeping the line in the middle. I see my glide path. You see here the horizontal yellow line. When that comes down, I do not want to climb to catch it. I'm just waiting for that to come down to me. When that comes down to me, I'm going to keep it at that using my pitch control. And I want to have those two intersect in the middle there while I'm descending. And how can you descend with the nose up? Easy, by throttle. So throttle controls your height and your pitch control your speed. So it's vice versa. No, it's the opposite. That's what I meant. And I can see my range distance is 6.5 kilometers. Left throttle. I'm doing 280 or something like that. Descending good. Lined up. Right now I'm actually not touching my rudder pedals. 220, a bit more speed. I want to climb a bit. Bit more throttle, bit more trim. Pitch trim. Bit more throttle to gain altitude. When I put more throttle in T, I'm gaining altitude by having more throttle, and I'm below the glide path. I know that. I do not mind because I know that there are no obstruction between me and the runway. Bit more throttle.
1:00. Дружинник. Проверьте угол шасси. Посадочный. 1-3.
Bit more throttle. 100 meters altitude. Left throttle. I'm climbing. I don't want that. I want a little left throttle. I can see my pitch indicator on the ADI is coming down to me. That is good. Flying level. Left throttle, 220, line still come down smoothly and controllable. Left throttle, I'm descending. Left throttle, speed is okay, altitude is a bit high. Punching the nose a bit down, that makes me gain speed, I know that. Left throttle, preparing to flare, a bit throttle. Bit throttle, less throttle, and touchdown. Left throttle, airspeed out, holding her, let her fall or drop by herself, don't force her, releasing pressure on the stick because I have plenty of roll. Speed under 200 kilometers per hour, can apply brakes, full control. I don't need my brake chutes, plenty of runway.
Superb. 1:00. Заруливайте на стоянку.
Releasing brake. Air brakes in, flaps up. Okay. Why did we succeed? First of all, we used the return point to give us enough time, enough space, enough room to maneuver, to line up slowly, properly, and with good confidence. We configured our aircraft in good time, so we had time to line up, smooth control, smooth throttle. Everything had to be smooth and gentle and humble. We used the HSI for a rough lineup. When that was achieved, we used the ADI for precise control. We knew that which runway we have to be at. That was fine. We did that. And we used the airspeed, air brakes. We knew when the shaking stops, we are at that speed. We used the VVI, the velocity indicator, to achieve a smooth glide path. To climb a bit, we did not pull back on the stick because that would increase our angle of attack and actually slow us down. So we used throttle to climb a bit. We used left throttle to descend a bit. Always smooth, controlled. No cramped like spastic controls. Always smooth control. And we used trim. So we had fingertip control, fingertip sensitivity on our flight sticks. So that is how you use the ILS, and it does not matter if you are the first 1, 2, 5, 10, 100 times you're doing it in the daylight. That just gives you confidence in your instruments, and your instruments does not lie. They always tell the truth if they are working properly. So yeah. Because one funny thing about my instruments is that if you look at the HSI, do you see anything that is completely wrong? There's something wrong with the HSI. Let me text you over here. Okay, look at the number on the runway. What does that say? That says 31. Look at my HSI. It says 238, 239. Why is that important? A lot of things can make a compass not work properly, especially in a plane. It can be violent maneuvers or anything. But as I said, I did not care about the compass. I cared about the rough direction the course deviation needle showed me. I did not look at the numbers. I looked at the course deviation needle, and when I had that rough direction, I looked at the ADI. Therefore, yes, I noticed that there was something wrong with the compass, but I knew I did not need that compass. So don't worry about it. You don't need it, so don't make it a problem. I was focused on the course deviation needle and not on the compass. He said runway 13. Yes, if I were totally fixated on 13 and I was looking at 13 on the compass, I would be somewhere in Georgia right now. But because I recognized a faulty compass, the reason does not matter. I recognized that. I knew that that was not important. I continued my flying because the course deviation needle worked, and that was confirmed and backed up by the ADI. So trust your instruments, but know which instrument to follow. Do not let you be confused by any of all the other instruments. Know which one you need and ignore all the rest. Like the clock. I don't care about the clock. The clock could be around here. I do not need that, and I do not need the Mach meter. That doesn't matter. I don't need the throttle percentage. I don't need that. All I need is for the engines to spool up when I put the throttle forward, Everything else is just luxury. So know which instrument you need and ignore the rest. So get out there, try it many times in perfect visibility, and then be good at it. But one thing I have to mention about poor visibility and flying is a story from real life. From August 2006 till February 2007, I was deployed to Iraq with the Royal Danish Army DENCON Team 8 Jutland Dragoon Mechanized Panzergrenadier Company. We were under command of the British forces. We were in the Basra region, in all the way down in the bottom of Iraq, just to the border with Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. One day we were supposed to go on operation. We were out to catch a huge smuggler. He was supposed to have gear that would make the Royal Danish Army jealous. So everything was lined up. We have rehearsed. Everything was ready to go. But then the wind turned and came in from the Persian Gulf. That meant extremely moist weather, and with temperatures at 65 Celsius and a normal humidity at 3 to 5. That sudden change within half a day was not pleasant. Imagine really high temperatures, real high moisture, just within 12 hours. The British were supposed to provide top cover with Apache attack helicopters and Medivac with Merlin helicopter covered by Lynx helicopter and with the Sea King on standby. The fog got thicker and thicker and thicker, but we thought, hey, we gotta catch this guy. We could see that the fog got really thick. Visibility 150 meters, 100 meters, 70, 50, 40. The visibility just keep dropping really quick over half a day. But the British, super professional and skilled pilot said, hey, whatever, we're used to that, we will fly anyway. We were absolutely stunned by that because we were pretty not happy about driving with the visibility at 50 meters, because that meant you need to go very slow, and when you're a slow convoy in enemy territory, ambush are certain. So no, we didn't like that. But the helicopter pilots, the British one, they didn't care. Only when we were standing at a light pole just like that, I remember vividly that I was standing at the bottom of that light pole. I was looking up. Only when I could not see the head of the light pole, only then would the British pilot not fly anymore. We could not see the light bulb. We could not see the head of that. Only then would it not fly. That is visibility of what? 8 meters? 8 meters visibility in a country that is filled with electricity wires, gas oil separation plants, telecommunication masts, tall buildings that is not on any maps. That is roughly placed on a map within a few hundred meters. The British pilot did not care. So our work with the British forces, ground forces and airborne forces, is a time with deep respect and honor.